lot of the speculation about lack of Americans and so forth, but there's a lot of great American talent coming up in the junior formula, and I think it's cool for the fans, but it's, after all, it's just a race.
The last time that happened was 1998 at Fontana. It was Jimmy Vasser and Scott Pruitt on the front row.
And Ralph, this year it's A.J. Allmendinger making it an All-American front row. And I know, A.J., you were very, very pleased in qualifying, but not the case this morning in the warm-up.
Well, I mean, it seemed like everybody was struggling with the track a bit. The combination with the other rubber that's here racing with us. Everybody was kind of slipping and sliding around. So, I still think we were fairly quick at that point. But, it made it fun for warm-up at least.
Well, it'll be fun in the race as well. He hasn't been feeling very well, but of course the crew always wanting to give advice to their driver. Here's an important one. Don't touch the brakes.
A.J. Allmendinger will line up on the outside of row 1. Now your Ford starting grid. Jimmy Vasser in the Gulfstream Lola, more than 176 miles an hour. He wins the Bridgestone Pole Award. Joined on the front row by the Rousport Beijing 10 of A.J. Allmendinger.
Row 2 headed by Englishman Justin Wilson. And beside him is the 2002 champion Cristiano Dumata from Brazil.
As we move back to row number 3 here on the Milwaukee Mile, cars are on the racetrack. The Index 3 2003 Series champ Paul Tracy, 3 times a winner here, and Sebastian Bourdais, the defending title holder in the McDonald's 1.
Row 4 headed by the man who just dominated last year, Ryan Hunter-Reay, beside Sweden's Bjorn Verdheim.
Rest of the grid, Oriol Servia, maybe just a one-off for Bruno Junqueira, and the Pacific here too. Mario Dominguez in the Index 7, Alex Tagliani, Marcus Marshall, Ronnie Bremer, Ricardo Spirifico, among the other stars in the field here today on the Milwaukee Mile. Let's take a look at our Bridgestone Pole Award winners for the season as Jimmy Vasser moves out from the inside of the front row. Tracy at Long Beach, Bourdais at Monterey. Vasser adds his name to the list, wins $10,000 for claiming the Bridgestone Pole Award here at Milwaukee on Friday. Championship standings after 2 rounds. Bruno Junqueira will give up the lead. He's going to miss the next several races. His teammate Bourdais, last year's champ, second. Wilson, Tracy, young Andrew Ranger, second at Monterey. They make up the top 5. And the Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Onboard views, Derek Daly, this is the only flat mile track these cars run on all season. How tough is it?
It is a very tough racetrack, very difficult, very, very fast, on the limit all the time. As you move back to A.J. Allmendinger, also carrying one of our onboard cameras.
We'll also be riding with Ryan Hunter-Reay, who dominated here a year ago. You heard from him at the top of the broadcast. He's driving the Briggs & Stratton 31 car. We'll look off the back end of his machine as well. He led all 250 laps here 1 year ago, set a champ car record. Today, though, Hunter-Reay starts inside row number 4. He's got his work cut out for him here this afternoon.
He really does. As you see the cars now do their final parade lap before they'll all get in line. All the tire marks down the front here is because of the drifting that we had over the last couple of days. Very entertaining also. But Jimmy Vasser and A.J. Allmendinger, an all-American front row here, about to line up to take this green flag.
Vasser has not won a Champ Car World Series event since 2002 at the California Speedway. A.J. Allmendinger, starting his second season, has yet to win one of these races. Row 2, you've got Justin Wilson, who still hasn't won either. This is his second season for the Rousport team in car number 9. Cristiano Dumata, the series champion from 2002. We're glad to have you with us on CBS Sports.
And watch Paul Tracy, because on cold tires, he is exceptionally aggressive. Look at Tracy, immediately makes a move to the outside, challenging Allmendinger. Round the outside he goes.
Tracy to second spot on the backstretch. Vasser is the leader. Here comes Tracy into 3.
So successful in the past is Paul Tracy. Now he's right up behind Jimmy Vasser.
Vasser with a terrific setup, very quick here yesterday. Can he hold Tracy back? Everybody away smoothly. Allmendinger third, Tracy for the lead in 1.
That is a brave move to try and pull off against a veteran like Jimmy Vasser. These are very good friends here. Both live in Las Vegas, but they take no prisoners when that green flag goes.
On this flat 1 mile, you've got about 8 degrees of bank in the corners, just enough to let any moisture roll off the racetrack. Other than that, it's wide, it's flat, it's very fast. Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car, diving inside Mario Dominguez to pick up a spot.
The McDonald's car has been a little bit off the pace. The Newman Haas cars are not legendary fast here in recent years. Dominguez again comes back, a great move inside turn 2.
That was for 6th position. Here comes Bourdais right back at him. A couple of slide jobs if you're familiar with oval track racing. Bourdais inside. Now, you can be faster, Derek, if you're not right down on the inside line, can't you?
Yes, you can. And you see Oriol Servia there filling in for Bruno Junqueira right behind Bourdais. You see him just watching what's going on here.
Servia sitting in 8th spot. Ralph Shaheen.
Rick, Sebastian Bourdais has been absolutely bewildered here this weekend with how to make his race car fast around this tight 1 mile oval. He's gained a lot of oval experience here recently with just a handful of races with the Champ Car Tour on ovals, but doing a lot of the IROC racing. In fact, doing very well with the IROC series. But that is a much different car, much different type of race than what he's doing here today. He says, I know what the car's doing, I can feel it, I just can't figure out how to fix it.
Bridgestone running order, top of your screen, as Bourdais in car number 1. The McDonald's machine runs in 7th behind Mario Dominguez. Dominguez and Bourdais swept us. Oh, one car in trouble. Ryan Hunter-Reay puts the 31 car, the Briggs & Stratton machine, hard into the outside wall. We are under caution for the first time this afternoon after just 5 laps. That's coming off the corner off of turn 2. It just snapped around on it. Trying to hear from Brian on his in-car radio.
His radio must be gone.
That was
Champ Car safety crew there on the scene quickly. Hunter-Reay, who led all the way here 1 year ago in a night race on the Milwaukee Mile, dominated for the Urdez team.
What a change for Ryan Hunter-Reay. You saw him in our opening of the show on top of the world, felt so good coming here, just totally dominated last year, led all 250 laps in dominant style. Have a look what happens here. Coming off turn 2, he looks as if he's on the right line, maybe a little bit high, just only a tad, but you see the groove. Watch him now. Okay, just slow down right there, slow down right there. Now, see what's happened. See the groove. The groove is the darker area all through here. You saw him get out of the groove, the back of the car come out, and just look at the crunch on the back of the car. An absolute direct hit with the gearbox. The gearbox explodes. That's all the bits and pieces of the race car that you see come off. These are all body parts all the way down through here. One of the important things, of course, is that the yellow flag comes out early enough so as drivers following. Have a look at it in regular speed and just listen. Against the wall.
Knocked the rear wing off the 31 car, the Briggs & Stratton machine. One more look.
Go on board. On board with Ryan. He's down to the white line. Oh! Gets away. Did you see how violent the impact was? Actually broke the right front suspension from Ryan Hunter-Reay's car. These rear impacts are pretty severe. There is Becky Gordon, his girlfriend. Becky Gordon, sister of Robbie Gordon, on the phone with somebody who's probably watching our CBS broadcast here live. There's the team. This is Paul Gentilosi's Rocket Sports team.
Under caution for the first time today. 8 laps are complete of the 225 miles here. That's not the first crash he's had in the last several weeks here, Derek. Both Ryan Hunter-Reay and his teammate Timo Glock had wrecked here in testing.
They came here in the test. They were fast. However, they both had big crashes. And the problem with the Milwaukee Mile here is when you make a spin, the speed is so high at any place in the corners that if you spin, you are going to make contact with the concrete at an enormous rate of speed. But it is a great comfort for a driver. I've been in this situation when the rescue crews arrive. It's a great comfort for the drivers to recognize that the Champ Car safety officials are there. They are recognized as the best in the business. So although this does not look routine, he is in very good hands here.
We're told that Ryan has made motions in the car. We believe, hopefully, that he will be okay. We'll have more on that for you when we continue. Under caution at the Milwaukee Mile, the Champ Car, Milwaukee 225. We'll be back.
CBS Sports coverage of the Champ Car Milwaukee 225 is sponsored by Bridgestone Tires, passion for excellence, and by Ford. built for the road ahead.
Back in the Milwaukee Mile on CBS Sports with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin, under caution for the first time. Young Ryan Hunter-Reay, who led every lap here and won a year ago, being lifted from his wrecked race car. He has put the Briggs & Stratton 31 hard into the wall off turn 2. It is our first yellow of the day, and Derek, that's a frightening sight to see.
Yes, it is. He is in very good hands, but it is a frightening sight to see because you just never know. He made heavy contact directly with the concrete wall with the back of the car. He did not hit anything sideways, did not use the suspension or side pods to absorb the impact.
And when you back in, that puts all the pressure on the driver himself, on the spine.
And that is the key to these rear impact injuries that these drivers sometimes suffer. There's such an energy because of the high speed that when you back it directly in, that energy goes right through the gearbox, engine, back of the seat, and of course the next thing is the driver.
Of course, all the Champ Car stars wear the Hans device, which would help at least with your upper, your spine, your neck, and so forth. Here it is on board.
Now watch how fast he loses control. He's on the right line. Zing! Right there, and again, look at that right front suspension. He hit so hard backward that it actually tore the right front suspension from its mountings. Now have a look in a slow-mo. Just look. We're going to stop the video at the point of the wall. Okay, we're going to slow the video down. Slow it down and just stop it right about a little bit more, a little bit more. Okay, stop it right there. See how the back of the car just crunches up. The gearbox explodes first, and all the internals come out on the racetrack. That is, of course, the rear wing and the bodywork. But you see how it absorbs it. But the problem is the engine is big. As you let the videotape run on here, that is probably the worst type of rear impact a driver can have. The gearbox does explode, but it just doesn't take enough of the energy away. And it's the energy that does damage at times. You see bits and pieces of the bodywork all over the place. And of course, drivers following have to be really careful they don't run over.
Well, they put Ryan Hunter-Reay on a backboard a moment ago. Safety crew 2, led by crew chief Dave Hollander and Dr. Chris Pendersky, the chief emergency physician for the Champ Car World Series, on hand to take care of Ryan Hunter-Reay. Well, when you go oval track racing, a lot of things have to change, including tires. My colleague Derek Daly tells us more in today's Bridgestone Passion for Excellence.
When Champ Car moved from road racing to oval track racing, one of the real technical challenges falls upon the shoulders of Bridgestone. Why? Well, here's some of the technical changes for the tires for oval tracks. One is the compound. It is much harder, much stronger, harder compound on the surface here because the loads in the corners are so much greater. Also in the sidewall, the construction of this sidewall here is a lot stronger, again, because of the forces of these high-speed corners. The third change can be seen in the tire pressure. See this? 40 pounds of pressure for oval track tires is almost double what Bridgestone would recommend for road racing. So these technical changes for oval track racing, well, they are all part of Bridgestone's passion for excellence.
Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Welcome back on CBS Sports, the Champ Car Milwaukee 225. Alongside Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin, under yellow for a bad incident involving Ryan Hunter-Reay. Ralph Shaheen, what do you hear about Ryan's condition?
Phil Howard is the team manager for Rocket Sports. Phil, what's the reports that you're getting on Ryan?
Basically, it's code 3, which is non-life-threatening injuries. On an oval, you back it in like that, they're going to be extra careful, so we're hoping he's okay. No, nothing much, probably a little bit of bruising.
Any idea, I saw you talk with some of the engineers, any idea what might have gone wrong that caused him to lose it?
Not really. I mean, there's a little bump in that corner at the point where he lost it. It maybe affected the car a bit more than it has been, and the back end just came around on him.
All right, well, hopefully Ryan will be okay.
Coming up on lap number 18, looking for a restart. We've been yellow for 12 laps. Jimmy Vasser has led all the way. Paul Tracy made a move on Vasser early. Looked like he might have had enough to get by. Vasser has beat back that challenge. Allmendinger, Wilson, and Cristiano D'Amata, the rest of the top 5. Getting ready to go. Tracy trying to snooker Vasser on the outside as they come out of 4.
That's exactly, Rick, what he's going to try and do.
Green flag, green flag.
Watch Tracy again. On cold tires, he is just dynamite. Oh, he's going to try the outside.
Vassar keeps to the bottom, maintains the lead out of 2.
It's not over yet. They are side by side. Vassar has the advantage. Down the inside, can Tracy push him?
Paul Tracy on the ragged edge gets by Vassar on the high side to take over.
Wow, what a move by Paul Tracy.
Tracy in the Index 3. They call him the Thrill from West Hill, heading toward the backstretch with the lead for the first time today. Look at him pull away from Vassar.
Wow, that was an awesome move by Paul Tracy. Vassar, we believe, has one of the best handling cars. We're going to see when he warms these tires up, can he come back to challenge Tracy? But Tracy has been so good here in the past. Let's take another look at what Tracy just did. He's on the outside. Vassar knows he's there. Tracy dares to go deeper. Dares to go deeper. Now he's got the car settled. Puts his foot down. Vassar is the oldest man on the field here, the most experienced. Realizes it isn't worth fighting anymore. I'll let the race settle down a little bit here.
Vassar has one win here in previous years. Tracy's won 3 times, not in the last couple of years. How much guts did it take for Tracy to do that on relatively cold tires around the outside?
Well, that is a patented Paul Tracy type move. We set it up before he came to the green flag. That's the type of thing he likes to do. The interesting thing with Tracy is if it doesn't work and he crashes, he's almost happy with that too, but he will dare you every move of the way.
And Derek, it was a case where he had to use the Cosworth power to pass to pull off that move, and he used it quite a bit to stay on the high side, so he's burned a lot of his power to pass time for later in the race. But of course he knows if he can get his car in clean air. Just spoke with his engineer, Eric Zito. They're very, very happy with this car in clean air.
Well, Tracy's built more than a 1-second lead already, but he's used 41 seconds at the top of your screen. A moment ago we were showing you the Cosworth power to pass time remaining. Each driver has 60 seconds on that button in the bank. It's good for 50 more horsepower. Sometimes guys use it defensively, but Jimmy Vassar decided to save his. He's still got 29 seconds of power to pass time remaining.
Interesting last time by Vassar. Did a 23.04. He is actually quicker than Tracy, 23.11. It's only about 0.06 of a second, but that's a fair bit on these oval tracks. And you'll see Vassar now slowly beginning to close in. Slowly closes in on Paul Tracy.
A.J. Allmendinger third in that yellow Beijing car. That's the 10 car from the Rousport team. This is Tracy in the Index 3. He is your leader. Well, tomorrow on CBS, you'll see stars when Broadway's best take the stage for the Tony Awards. Join your favorites, one-of-a-kind live performances. Hugh Jackman hosts the Tony Awards. It's live tomorrow at 8, 7 Central on CBS. The award right now would have to go to Tracy for that bold outside pass on Vassar.
That was bold, and track position gave him a big advantage here. Let's just go on board. See, he goes wide.
Little different line being used by Tracy, and I remember a year ago, Derek, the race was run at night. Tracy tried to run that second groove, that higher line all evening long. It didn't work for him. His night ended in the wall last year.
Right, and you'll see the big surface change right there, left side of your screen. The cars usually put the left wheels at least down over there. The good handling cars can go over those surface changes without a problem. Ryan Hunter-Reay appeared to lose control right after he came off that surface change.
Back on board, Tracy, the Forsyth Index number 3.
Again on board with Paul Tracy. They're down over the surface change, all the wheels. Ralph?
Derek, earlier in the weekend, Paul Tracy was just a little down on power physically himself. A bit of a sore throat going on, some things of that nature. Wasn't really too sick, but just wasn't 100% of himself. I talked to him this morning. He said he was feeling much better, felt like he was going to be more on his game. And as you know, Derek, once you get in the race car and you start leading an event, suddenly you feel as healthy as a horse. And a lot of that, I would assume, Derek, is just due to the focus it takes to run that fast, that far up front.
Concentration, adrenaline, and nothing like a good old sweat to get everything out. That is Marcus Marshall right ahead of him in the Team Australia car. So into traffic already. Tracy needs to deal with this as quickly as possible. Wow, that was quick.
Marshall gives the room on the inside. Marshall in the Aussie Vineyards Team Australia 15. The Derek Walker stables. 1 lap down already. He is shown 16th. Next up for Tracy will be Ricardo Spirifico in the AMR number 19, the American Medical Response car. As we watch Vassar in the Gulfstream Lola, that's car number 12. Jimmy on the pole here this weekend, running in second. Right here with A.J. Allmendinger, the second-year driver out of Denver, Colorado, in the Beijing car out of the Rousport stables. This is the 10. Started on the outside of row number 1. Allmendinger 1.8 seconds back in third spot. Early in the going, 32 of 225 laps complete. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. We'll be back at Milwaukee. Hey, take time this afternoon. Check out FantasySportsNetwork.com. It's your chance to manage your own Champ Car team. Champ Car Racing's true fantasy league. Compete against fans worldwide at FantasySportsNetwork.com. Well, greetings from the Milwaukee Mile. They've been racing here for more than 100 years. I'm Rick Benjamin. Derek Daly is alongside as we watch Paul Tracy continuing to dominate the show here at Milwaukee. My colleague, Mr. Daly, the first non-American-born driver to finish in the top 3 here. That was back in 1987.
How cool was that? But this track was always one of my favorites because it has an unusual ability to challenge every fiber of your body. And you do have to be brave here. You have to dare the elements sometimes. And we see Paul Tracy do that, particularly on cold tires, which is why we now see him in the lead, having gained that just critical advantage over Vassar.
Now, about 15 laps ago, Tracy went to the outside, and Jimmy Vassar down into turn 1, made it stick, rim-rode his way by the pole sitter to grab the lead. And Tracy's teammate, Mario Dominguez, in the other in-deck car, the 7, well, he's been the big mover here in the early going. Dominguez only qualified 10th. He has powered his way to 5th already in the early going as we put 40 laps on the board here today. Riding with Tracy, heading down into turn number 1. Top of your screen, the Bridgestone running order with the intervals behind the leader. Ryan Hunter-Ray is behind the wall. He wrecked back on lap number 6. Let's have one more look at how Tracy got the advantage a few moments ago. Ralph, as we ride with Tracy, that was quite a move he made to get the lead.
Rick, this is a move that Paul Tracy learned from the great Rick Mears back in his days with Roger Penske Racing. They worked specifically on this move. Rick would learn this move and use it himself here at the Milwaukee Mile and also at Indianapolis. And they spent many, many hours up in the transporter and in the motor coaches talking about how do you make a pass when the guy isn't looking for it. And one of the places they focused on was right here at the Milwaukee Mile. So Paul dug deep back in his bag of tricks, remembered the lessons he heard from Rick, and he is now leading here at the Milwaukee Mile.
Still with Tracy heading onto the backstretch, sifting his way through lap traffic here right at the moment. Very smooth. Derek, we were looking earlier with the help of Jan Beekes, who's also on pit road today, at the possible pit windows, fuel windows. The driver's in that window now. Most everyone thinks this is a 3-stop race. We had a long yellow. If we get 30 or 35 laps of caution, might some try it in 2?
It is very possible. You can run about 70 laps, give or take a lap or 2. So we're now 45 laps in. It just depends where the yellows fall as to whether you would take that gamble or not.
Riding with the driver who sits third, A.J. Allmendinger in car number 10. That's the Beijing Rousport car. Allmendinger reeling in Jimmy Vassar. A battle taking shape for second spot. Vassar now 2.6 seconds behind Tracy. It looks as though Vassar's got a little push going there, Derek. He was wide out of 2.
Very high line, and that is actually not a bad line as long as you can maintain the momentum. Vassar, you still see high on the line, outside wheels, above the black marks of that surface change, whereas A.J. Allmendinger right below. Again, watch it right here. Watch the surface change. Look, Vassar. See A.J. all the way down over the black lines. Vassar did not lose any time. But meanwhile, Tracy begins to stretch it. He was 2.8 seconds ahead of Vassar as they went through traffic. And Tracy is just awesome as they go through traffic. Now he's 2.8 seconds.
Right now, Paul Tracy in a different league at the moment. Now, here is the car that leads the championship standings. Oriol Servia has replaced the injured Bruno Junqueira. Servia in the Pacific Air #2. Junqueira hurt in a violent wreck at Indianapolis last Sunday. When we continue on CBS Sports, we'll have a conversation via phone with Bruno Junqueira. We'll be back with more of the Champ Car Milwaukee 225 after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
You're watching Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford.
Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Enhance your Champ Car viewing experience. Head to our website, champcarworldseries.com. Click on Race Director. Sign up for the season. Plenty of additional cameras. Lots more information at Race Director at champcarworldseries.com. Riding with A.J. Allmendinger, Derek Daly. He made a bold move again a couple of laps ago. He got around Jimmy Vasser and headed to second. Let's take another look at the pass made by Allmendinger on Vasser.
And he began to close in on him. This is the top of the racetrack. Began to close in. See Jimmy on the high line. We watched him.
Battling there with Nelson Philippe. A.J. Allmendinger got by Vasser a few moments ago. We'll try to show that to you. Jimmy Vasser has slid all the way back to fourth meantime. Justin Wilson, Allmendinger's teammate, has come by him as well. So you've got the Rousport boys second and third behind Paul Tracy. But now Tracy has opened up 6.5 seconds of a lead over A.J. Allmendinger as we head toward the 60-lap mark here at the Milwaukee Mile. This is Allmendinger in the yellow and white car, arrowing down into turn 3.
And Tagliani is also, who was fastest in the warm-up. He is now a lap down also. And the second PKV car, Cristiano D'Amata, is even in bigger trouble than Jimmy Vasser. He's dropping way back.
That is the Grand Prix of Denver this weekend, 9 for Justin Wilson, the other Rousport car, moving into third spot. Jan Beekes.
Speaking of A.J. Allmendinger, we mentioned he did not feel well last night. In fact, he got no sleep whatsoever. Said he had a migraine and an upset stomach, never got a wink of sleep. And in the first 15, 20 laps of the race, he had been working the settings inside the cockpit to get a balance. He wasn't happy with the car after this morning's warm-up, as he said. He obviously now has tuned in the car, and he's picking up the pace.
Allmendinger second, but 6.3 seconds behind Tracy. Had to lift for a long time there in the middle of 3 and 4. As we watch Allmendinger down the front straightaway. Now, let's see if we can take you back and show you the move A.J. Allmendinger made several laps ago to get by Vasser.
Again, you see Jimmy slightly high, slightly high. Then he washes out completely coming off turn 4. Meanwhile, A.J. Allmendinger has the power on and just shoots down the inside. So Vasser does not now have the grip, particularly as he goes through the apex of the corners and off the corners. He's got to back off the power.
Now, both of the PKV cars, the Gulfstream car of Vasser and the Bell Micro machine of Cristiano D'Amata, he's really loose, we're hearing on the radio. He has backpedaled to 10th. Well, let's take you back 1 week. The Champ Car World Series championship leader, Bruno Junqueira, not here this weekend. He will miss several races after a violent wreck at the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and we have a look at it for you. And Derek, when you see this is a very frightening incident.
Oh, this was a savage crash. I mean, just slammed into the wall at unabated speed. Mistake by A.J. Foyt down the inside. Just didn't see Bruno. Literally drove into him, put him into the wall. Bruno was having a great run, and of course the replacement is Oriol Servia, who currently runs 6th, right behind Sebastian Bourdais.
Bruno Junqueira is at Methodist Hospital in Indianapolis recovering after surgery. He joins us on the phone. Bruno, great to have you on the broadcast, but we're sorry you're not in the race car. How are you feeling today?
I'm feeling good, for sure. Not that happy that I'm not in the Pacific Care car, but Ori is doing a good job, and I hope we'll be back very soon.
Bruno, a lot of speculation as to when you may be back in a racing car. We hear 6 months sometimes, then we hear shorter. Has the doctor told you that you may be back in a racing car before the end of this season?
I have no idea. It's something that just time will tell, and I'm working very hard, doing physiotherapy 3 times a day, walking, going up the stairs, doing some exercise, try to be in shape fast as possible. But for sure it was a big surgery, so we're going to take time until we can be back. But I will try to be back as fast as possible.
Bruno, you had that incident at Indianapolis just a week after a great victory in the Grand Prix of Monterey. Those are really the highs and the lows of this sport, aren't they?
Yeah, it's a shame. I was leading the championship with the Pacific Care car. I was really good in Long Beach. Didn't get the best strategy, finished third. But in Monterey, got the win. I was very confident this year, doing everything better. We had our shot in Indy. I was running really good, running together with Van Weldon. I think we had a shot to win the race. And unfortunately, the guy put us out of the race. So I have to do this operation, but I hope I can get back in shape as soon as possible. And it's a big thing for me, but now what I have to do is just watch my friends racing. I can see now Sebastian and Rory running close together. I was the fastest on the test in Milwaukee a month ago. I think I delivered them a good race setup so they can fight for the win.
Well, Bruno, we appreciate you taking time to chat with us. All the best as your recovery continues. I know you'll be out of the hospital soon. We look forward to seeing Bruno Junqueira back at the Champ Car World Series paddock very, very soon. Bruno Junqueira recovering after surgery in Indianapolis. His crew getting ready.
Yeah, his sister Gianna, who is his constant companion, almost his manager, is in fact here this weekend. Bruno, I'm glad of a couple of things. A, he's beginning to work out with physical therapy already. Bruno has a 6-inch rod inserted into his back and has 10 screws to repair the orthopedic damage. But despite that, he was actually on his feet the next day after surgery, and he has vowed to make one of the quickest recoveries ever from that type of back injury. Dr. Terry Trammell, who looked after me, one of the doctors who looked after me back in 1984, is the one looking after Bruno Junqueira.
Meantime, as we watch action on the Speedway, Sebastian Bourdais has passed Jimmy Vasser, as has Oriol Servia. This is Bourdais, the season champion a year ago in the McDonald's #1 for Newman Haas. Looks as though Jimmy Vasser's got a problem. He's headed to pit road, we understand, shortly. Vasser dropping through the field. And there is Servia taking a look at his teammate. Servia now steering the Pacific Air #2, one of Derek Walker's Team Australia cars, way high out of the group. That may well be Marcus Marshall.
Yes, it is. It is. First time on an oval track. Did do the test here, but he looked like he got himself in trouble. Don't know if he actually made contact with the wall down on turn 2.
Marshall 2 laps down. He is back at 15th. Sebastian Bourdais on pit road. Green flag stop, Jan Beekes.
And what they're going to do is they're going to change the right rear tire pressure. He has been complaining of some understeer or push.
Now just finish the fuel.
Can you see what's on the radio? Full load of fuel at 10.9 seconds. Again, changing the rear tire pressure to get the car to turn a bit better. Ralph?
Cristiano D'Amato brings his car in. They're going to go down 2 on the front wing. He's been very loose on his car. Now his teammate, Jimmy Vasser, is pitted just to the right of him. And they're going to go up on the air pressures on Jimmy's car. He's been very loose too, but they've had trouble building air pressure in the Gulfstream car of Jimmy Vasser, so they just pump more air in to help achieve that air pressure where they want it, Rick.
Paul's racing the race leader, also on pit road, down and away, and here comes Oriol Servia to the attention of the Newman Haas crew. Servia in the Pacific Air 2 car, the well-boxed machine of Nelson Philippe on pit road. Let's listen. Quiet on the radios. And Servia down and away. First round of pit stops of the day under green flag conditions at lap 75. Now Timo Glock is on pit road. Mario Dominguez has yet to stop Derek. He had come from 10th on the grid to 5th. Andrew Ranger hasn't stopped yet. He moves to 2nd. Ronnie Bremer to 3rd. And those drivers able to get a little better fuel mileage, it appears, at this point, as Servia heads up onto the backstretch. Here comes Dominguez.
Critical time, these pit stops. Driver sits there, hopes all the wheels get on nice and tight, hopes all the fuel gets in as his teammate Paul Tracy resumes the lead as this begins to shake out.
Ronnie Bremer, who's yet to stop, shown 2nd. Dominguez shown 3rd at the moment. He was the leader when he came to pit road. Long caution early for the hard wreck by Ryan Hunter-Reay into the turn 2 wall. The 2004 winner here is out of the race. The remaining cars, 16 of them, still in competition. Ricardo Spirifico at the rear of the field. The American Medical Response 19. Let's ride here for a moment with Tracy in the Index 3.
There's Bjorn Verdheim right ahead of him in the HVM car from Sweden.
Verdheim had a lot of laps in that Eurosport number 4 at Monterey 2 weeks ago. And an opportunity to win. Tracy, for the moment, leads Ronnie Bremer and A.J. Allmendinger. 75 laps are on the board. The Champ Car, Milwaukee 225. Back with more in a moment. Back at the Milwaukee Mile, the Champ Car 225 in Milwaukee with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin, your leader again, Paul Tracy, after the round of green flag pit stops. Well, tonight on CBS, it's a night of drama and mystery. It begins with Cold Case, followed by Without a Trace and 48 Hours Mystery. Tonight on CBS. We've had a scary incident here today at the Milwaukee Mile. It was much earlier in the race this afternoon and involved last year's race winner, Ryan Hunter-Reay. 6 laps on the board. Car snapped around. Hunter-Reay backed the Briggs and Stratton car hard into the outside wall. It took several laps for safety crews to safely remove him on a backboard. He has been transported to the infield care center. Ralph Shaheen, what are you hearing about Ryan Hunter-Reay?
Rick, right now the good news is that he is alert and awake. He is talking about some mild neck pain. They've been working on him with that, and they're going to transport him to a local hospital where they will hold him over for some observation to find out what is causing that neck pain.
Wow, that's a good report. Good news indeed. All right, Ralph Shaheen for us on pit road, along with Jan Beekes today. As we watch the 3-car, the Index machine of Paul Tracy, the 2003 Series champion, diving inside the Timo Glock car to put him another lap down. Let's ride with Paul Tracy, Derek Daly.
And the key to speed on an oval track is when you come down the straight, that you don't have to force the wheel left to go around the corner. Because of the tire stagger, which is the bigger tire on the right rear on a solid rear axle, the driver is actually pointing, believe it or not, the car to the right side. He's holding pressure on the right side as it goes down the straight. Then, so down here, Tracy actually holds to this way. Now, then he just releases and lets this wheel just come in. The easier you can have the car go around the corner almost itself, the least amount of scrub you put on the front tires, and the faster you go. The key to oval track racing is, can you almost make the car go around the corner as you just release the steering wheel and let it follow its own groove around? The perfect handling car will stay on the ideal line. Let's just listen in now as we go full throttle with Paul Tracy.
Down the front straightaway to put lap number 93 of 225 on the board today on a sunny Saturday afternoon in the month of June at the Milwaukee Mile. Paul Tracy is your leader. He has a 3.5-second advantage over young A.J. Allmendinger, who started second, got shuffled back as Tracy made a great move on the start to take second. Allmendinger has gotten around Jimmy Vasser. He leads Justin Wilson, his teammate. Sebastian Bourdais has climbed to 4th, Oriol Servia to 5th. As we watch Marcus Marshall back there having problems in that 5-car for Derek Walker's team, Team Australia and the Aussie Vineyards crew. Here comes Allmendinger. He is working his way into turn number 1 right now. Allmendinger behind one of the 2 HVM cars. This is the Beijing Rousport number 10. After that round of green flag stops, Ronnie Bremer had the lead briefly in the HVM 55, the Ansan car. Bremer had stopped very early during the caution for Ryan Hunter-Reay on lap 15. Led a lap, a couple of laps actually here. Bremer now cycled back to where he is in the running order in 10th position. Allmendinger 3 seconds behind, running in second spot. A.J. Allmendinger just coming off his Rookie of the Year campaign. He won that honor in 2004. Let's update your Roche Franz rookie standings in 2005. 3 excellent drivers leading the class of rookies. Andrew Ranger, who brought the Tide number 27 for the MyJack team home second at the Grand Prix of Monterey in Mexico 2 weeks ago, is the leader right now in the Roche Franz Rookie of the Year standings.
And that is Ranger right ahead of A.J. Allmendinger. So last year's Rookie of the Year watching this year's leader in the Rookie of the Year. Ranger just does a great job for an 18-year-old kid to be as aggressive in cars this big. But again, you see Allmendinger now coming down to the inside. Allmendinger and Tracy appear to have the ability to go down very low in these corners and not upset the handling of their cars.
Watching the cars arrow out of turn 2 and start down the back straightaway here at the Milwaukee Mile.
It's Timo Glock right ahead of Allmendinger. Timo Glock, remember, tested here, had a big crash, backed it in, coming off turn 4, fractured his collarbone, says it is completely healed.
As we watch Ranger in the Tide MyJack number 27, Ranger leading the rookie standings. He sits 8th. He is a lap down. 7 drivers on the lead lap at the moment. Ranger made a great drive at the end of the race to get to that second spot, and we can hear on the radios his team telling him second is good enough. You don't hear that as a racer very often, but they were just over the moon with how Ranger drove at Monterey.
Absolutely. Youngest ever driver to be on a podium in Champ Car history. Out of the Atlantic Series, straight into these big monsters, 750 horsepower, heavy racing car, physically demanding. And when they get away from you, they make an awful big bang against the wall. So I admire these people. And of course, his teammate is Nelson Philippe, both 18 years of age. Yeah. The combined ages of 2 of those drivers doesn't even make up Jimmy Vasser.
That's very true. Vasser closing in on age 40, the pole sitter here. Jan Beekes
spoke with the crew for Andrew Ranger and specifically Bruce Ashmore, their technical director. And as many people up and down pit road after that first round of stops, no changes for Andrew Ranger. It's very strange that with a changing track conditions, much sunnier today than yesterday, that these teams are making very few changes up and down pit road. They're leaving it to the driver inside the cockpit to work the weight jacker, Derek, as well as the sway bar. So those adjustments inside right now, they'd rather do as the driver, not on pit road.
Talk a little bit about Ronnie Bremer, too, who you saw leading a little while ago, gentlemen. Ronnie Bremer started 16th today. He pitted early and then almost ran out of fuel. After everybody else had pitted, he just about saw the fumes on the meter and was out of gas. They dove him down pit road, fueled him up. He is now slotted back into 10th in car 55. He's 1 lap down, but Rick, there's some interesting stuff about Ronnie Bremer. This is a guy who's been on his own since the age of 15. At 15 years of age, he packed up, left his home country of Denmark and went to Italy, not even knowing how to speak the language, to get started in racing, and he's done a pretty good job.
Graduate of Toyota Atlantics and lots of experience in Europe. He's been very impressive in the early season, driving the Ansan number 55. The series makes its first trip to Ansan, South Korea later this summer. It'll be quite an event. Paul Tracy in the Index number 3 for Forsyth Championship Racing. Tracy the leader. Thursday night on CBS, it took Tommy Hilfiger 25 years to build his billion-dollar fashion empire, and now he's giving 16 style-savvy contestants a chance to be the next great American designer. The show is The Cut. It premieres Thursday at 8, 7 Central on CBS. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. Jan Beekes and Ralph Shaheen are on pit road, closing in on halfway. After 111 trips around the Milwaukee Mile, Paul Tracy has dominated. We've had one 12-lap caution for the Ryan Hunter-Ray wreck over in turn 2. 3 different leaders, including Jimmy Vasser and Tracy and Ronnie Bremer. Lead changes, we've had 4 of them thus far.
Don't know whether you can take notice here, but as you watch, I'll get to that in just a second.
Oriol Servia His first drive for Newman Haas in the Pacific Air 2 car, taking over for the injured Bruno Junqueira. We spoke with Bruno earlier in the broadcast. Bruno recuperating at Methodist Hospital in Milwaukee after a hard hit into the wall at Indy last Sunday. Bruno turning in a terrific run at the Speedway after his victory in the Grand Prix of Monterey 2 weeks ago. Junqueira was the championship leader coming in here today. He is much missed, but the Newman Haas bunch very happy with what they've seen from the Spaniard veteran Oriol Servia.
For those of you with the eagle eye, notice that when you come off the corner, look down here, A.J. Allmendinger consistently takes his hand off the steering wheel. I don't know whether he takes his hand and just flexes it a little bit. Very often a driver will not push with the right hand. He will actually pull with the left hand. So Allmendinger again, consistently as he comes off the corners, you can see he takes his hand off the steering wheel again and again. But the pulling down by the left hand is a very common way for drivers to run oval tracks, whereas you imagine it will be actually pushing with the right hand.
Now, we had heard earlier in the telecast that AJ had a difficult night, a migraine headache, didn't really sleep, still doesn't feel well. Is that perhaps something to do with his not feeling well, that he's got to rest that hand?
I don't know, but now you see he's taken his right hand off, again his left hand off, and he does seem to be flexing it. It is a very common problem on oval tracks when drivers are in the same position, holding on tight on a regular basis, that you actually do get a lack of blood flow through your hands, through your fingers. You saw AJ that time dropped a gear. Watch him change up again. Stayed in the same gear. Great onboard cameras here from A.J. Allmendinger.
The Beijing 10 car from the Rousport team. Allmendinger started outside the pole today, runs in second spot. Well, what about Cristiano D'Amato, the Bell Micro 21, the PKV team? D'Amato, the former series champion, getting lapped there by Sebastian Bourdais. Back at 12th spot, Ralph Shaheen, not where you'd expect to see him.
It's been a very difficult day for the former champion in that red and white machine, Rick. He's been very quiet, but very loose all day long. He has not been very talkative, but the crew can see, obviously, that the lap times are dropping, and everything that he does say when he does talk is that this machine is very loose, not handling the way he wants it to. Now, in the other red and white team, the car that comes out of the PKV stables, the Gulfstream-backed machine of Jimmy Vasser. Jimmy, on the other hand, very talkative today. However, unfortunately for him, his car is also very loose. Now, you might remember in the last pit stop, we told you that they put more air into the tires to help increase the tire pressure quickly for Jimmy. It's still not coming up fast enough where he needs it. They're going to have to put more air pressure into those tires on the next stop, Rick.
Well, they should have two more chances, Ralph, to make those adjustments. Vasser and the Gulfstream Lola, pole sitter here this weekend. He is back in sixth.
And they've had a change of engineers recently on that team. Tom Brown, who's ex-Penske, as you go on board again with Paul Tracy, but Tom Brown moved over to head up the engineering of the PKV team. Vasser is on the pole here. Coincidentally, Tom Brown was the engineer for Ryan Hunter-Reay last year, and Ryan Hunter-Reay was on the pole. So it goes to show, and I tell young kids this all the time, setup, setup, setup is the absolute key to consistent speed. And we see Tom Brown obviously able to take the right setup to Vasser. Now, he got it right for qualifying, but there's a struggle here in the race conditions, so they're going to have to work a little bit harder to give D'Amato and Vasser just more in race conditions.
Closing in on halfway, the guy with the best setup, Paul Tracy, has got a 4.5-second lead. Well, Champ Car Racing is all about high technology. The Cosworth turbocharged Ford motors. Jan Bikas has more on how they work. Our Ford Built for the Road Ahead feature.
Not too many years ago, the way that Jimmy Vasser would adjust turbo pressure on the engine was from the helmet. They used to place a plastic tube at the base of this valve, which senses the inlet pressure of the engine, running up to the cockpit into the helmet. So if he heard a hissing on the tube, he knew he had to make a manual adjustment inside. Now that plastic tube has been replaced by an electronic sensor. This sensor, along with 50 others around the car, are all simultaneously monitored by a computer. So the Cosworth engineers can now pre-program the engine to have any characteristics that they would like. So here at Milwaukee, you're hard on the power for most of the lap and you have a quick lift. So they've changed the parameters so the turbocharger keeps spooled up, so you have lots of pressure. You come back to the power, it's there instantaneously.
And of course, when you're on the racetrack, there is a little valve there that just determines how much power an engine has.
100 miles to go at the Milwaukee Mile. Riding with race leader Paul Tracy. His lead 4.8 seconds over A.J. Allmendinger. Back at the Milwaukee Mile on CBS Sports, our second caution of the day. This wreck at the opposite end from where the first one took place. Andrew Ranger, second 2 weeks ago in Monterrey, Mexico, slipped up out of the groove in turn 4. Derek Daly and crushed the wall. First, though, Mario Dominguez.
Bit of a strange one here. Yeah, watch Dominguez go wide, out in the groove, out in the groove. Oh, manages to save it. And then Ranger follows him and doesn't manage to keep it off the wall. Actually quite a big hit for Ranger against that concrete wall.
So the Tide MyJack 27 takes the right side wheels off. Ranger is out of the car, and he appears to be okay. Leaders will pit under caution with less than 100 miles to go. Paul Tracy will lead them down on pit road from the Index number 3, the car that's been out front for so long. Jan Beekes is there.
And what they're going to do for Paul Tracy, watch the front wings. He wants to take a half turn out. As we see, A.J. Allmendinger will pit right ahead of him. When you take front wing out, it means that the car... Oh, they added front wing. Okay. Handling beats out A.J. Allmendinger.
So, Ralph, Jimmy Vasser is in his Gulfstream red and white number 12, and the former champ takes 2 rounds out of the front wing. Remember, he's been dealing with a loose condition, and they also put more air pressure into all 4 tires, trying to build that tire pressure up for him quicker, trying to get that car handling better.
And Oriol Servia also on pit road in that Pacific Air number 2 with Derek Daly. I'm Rick Benjamin. Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile, where they've been running these champ cars for more than 70 years. Derek, we've just had another incident up in 4, and it really shows how loose it is when you get outside the racing groove here.
One of the problems they discussed at the drivers' meeting yesterday evening was the marbles on the outside. They assured the drivers we'll sweep it as best we can, but remember, we're more than halfway into this race now, so the marbles are little pieces of rubber that come off the tires and roll off onto the racetrack and gather just outside the racing line. When Dominguez got on it, you saw he just about saved it. Ranger in the MyJack car was not quite as fortunate.
Well, Paul Tracy was in the mix of cars there too. Tracy has been dominant. He took the lead from Jimmy Vasser back around the 10th lap today. How good is Tracy here at the Milwaukee Mile?
Tracy is exceptionally good, not just today, but he has a history of great runs here at Milwaukee. Now, he appears to have a car that is...
How many laps to go?
That's Tracy.
94.
That's Paul Tracy, just getting his boundaries here, understanding what's going on. The link to the team manager is so vital for a driver because he can only see ahead of him. He wants to know what's going on around him and how the race may unfold.
Just be gentle on field.
But Tracy has consistent handling. He's brave and he's very good, Rick, through traffic, as we've watched here all afternoon.
Been a very impressive run for Tracy, who has 3 victories here at the Milwaukee Mile to go with his Champ Car Championship in 2003. Under caution, we'll be back with more of the Champ Car Milwaukee 225 after this message and a word from your local CBS station.
The Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford.
Back at the Milwaukee Mile, the Champ Car World Series on CBS Sports. Tuesday night on CBS, 2 people compete to get fired first. Their bosses have no idea what's going on. Check out TV's funniest new reality show. It's called Fire Me Please. It premieres Tuesday at 9, 8 Central on CBS. Riding with Paul Tracy in the Index 3 car, still out front. Second yellow of the day, still cleaning up from Andrew Ranger's incident up in turn 4. He is okay. A reminder, if you'd like to wear what the Champ Car stars wear, log on to champcarstuff.com or call 800-777-4453. Free catalogs available, hats, t-shirts, jackets, and all the rest at champcarstuff.com. As we ride with the race leader, let's get an update on Andrew Ranger's team, Jan Beekes.
With his team owner, Eric Batchelard. Eric, you've done a lot of laps around here, and that's a tough education to get high here in Milwaukee out in those marbles.
Well, yes, I don't know what happened because, Andrew was really quick, and it seems that Dominguez, went high, and for whatever reason, Andrew followed him. It was Dominguez or Tracy, but one of the 2 four-side cars. well, it's funny how it goes from one weekend to another, and with a big smile, the last race, and here didn't finish the race, but I'm sure he's learning, and he showed he was quick, and that's important, So Andrew has a lot of talent, and he's very competitive, and he made a mistake today, but he's going to learn from it.
Yes, but a small mistake today. You must think that what he has done so far, you've got to be thrilled with how quickly he's picked up the pace.
Yeah. I was amazed, and for, 30, 40 laps, it seemed that he was at the same pace as Tracy, So, it means a lot, about him. And so I think we're going to have a good year. We're definitely going to fight for the best rookie of the year.
Andrew Ranger, a lot of talent. Ralph?
Well, Jan, as you know, Oriol Servia was driving for Dale Coyne Racing. This is Dale Coyne right here. Now, you're down to one car this week, Dale. Will we see you back to a two-car program at the next race at Portland, and how will you do that?
Oh, we'll definitely be a two-car at the next race. It came short notice here, so we decided not to put anybody in with one-day notice and no testing, so we'll have two cars back up at Portland. We're looking at about 3 or 4 guys. We don't know what's going to happen with Oriol yet, so racing's a funny business. You kind of take it one day at a time.
So then if Oriol only gets one race with Newman Haas, is the door still open for him here?
You never know. This is like the entertainment business. It changes every hour, so Oriol did a good job for us. We were always happy. I think we were good for him, and he was good for us. So, but there's some other young guys out there too. So we'll see what happens.
The interesting thing was Dale Coyne didn't even know that Oriol was gone until he got a phone call from another driver looking for his ride. That's what started the whole thing in motion. So it was a bit of a surprise for Dale.
Paul Tracy, a restart later on lap 138. Mario Dominguez a lap down, his teammate right behind him. Allmendinger and Wilson second and third. They can't get by Dominguez, down into 1.
Oh, look at Servia too. Servia just off camera. You see Servia made a real brave move. Wow. That's making a statement. He has followed him for the last 138 laps, and now he makes a move down the inside, trying to say to Carl Haas, I might like to stay in this car for the rest of the season if you would give me the opportunity.
Oriol Servia picks up 4th. Sebastian Bourdais in the McDonald's car drops back to 5th. So Servia, he's pinned his ears back. He's trying to head to the front now.
And no doubt Bruno Junqueira, who's in Methodist Hospital, saying to himself now, I probably would have made that move 15 laps earlier.
That was a fantastic move for Oriol Servia, and one of the reasons is he feels as though the car has been improving throughout the race, that he just loves the Newman Haas experience, that he tells them what he wants. They make a slight change in a pit stop or in the cockpit, and he says the car gets better and better as the race goes on. Ralph?
Jan, we're also hearing that Servia has saved the most of his push-to-pass button, and Rick, as you know, that gives him that extra boost of horsepower. So as this race progresses on and that car gets better, he might have that added weapon waiting right there, one more bullet in the gun.
Ralph, he's still got 41 seconds left. He's burned only 19 seconds of Cosworth power-to-pass time at this point. Wilson in front of him is down to 32 seconds. A.J. Allmendinger has used everything he's got in the bank. Paul Tracy hanging on to 19 seconds of that extra 50 horsepower.
Interesting. One of the differences Oriol Servia said before he ever sat into this Pacific Care car, they handed him a 21-page manual of all the technical information that they knew about Milwaukee, they knew about this car, for him to study. So as when he got here, he will be a lot further ahead than simply almost like a rookie jumping into a strange team. So organization pretty high in Newman Haas.
Servia started 9th here today. He has climbed to 4th as we move inside, getting close to 80 laps to go. Oriol Servia ran a 23:35 last time around. Race leader Tracy quickest on the speedway, a 22.93 second lap for Paul Tracy. But look at Servia, Derek. He's adding to his advantage over Sebastian Bourdais.
Yes, he is. Now he is almost a full second clear. You see it right there, Bourdais in the McDonald's car. So Servia happy to sit around for quite a while. Now beginning to stretch his legs. But again, the Newman Haas cars in recent years just are not that quick here at Milwaukee. I know last year Bourdais crashed on lap 50.
Well, they have 6 wins, the team does. Oriol Servia driving the Pacific Care 2, at least for this race for Newman Haas. Yesterday, Ralph chatted with him about whether Oriol feels he's facing more pressure this weekend.
How important is this for you today, and how much pressure are you putting on yourself to perform at the level that you think you can?
People keep asking me about the pressure. It's no pressure. I'm in the best team. That means everything is better. Everything is more ready for me. I just have to focus and drive, do my job, and that's what I'm doing. So it's just great feeling. I'm just enjoying every minute of it. And as I said, I think I can do a very good job, and the team is just making it easy for me.
Well, Derek, last year we watched Oriole for the Dale Coyne team. Obviously not with the resources of a Newman Haas. He had several excellent runs in what was then the 11 car for Dale's squad. So you know that Oriole's got talent.
Oh, he has been around now for quite a while with people thinking if we get him into a good car, he will do great things. Now this is his big opportunity. Unfortunately, it's an unusual circumstance with Bruno being in the hospital in Indianapolis, but this is the type of stage any driver wants, just an opportunity. Give me an opportunity to shine, and he now has the remainder of this race to prove to Carl Haas, I'd like another chance. Keep me in this car.
Oriole Servia from 9th to 4th. He passed series champ Sebastian Bourdais. Bourdais and the McDonald's won right behind the Pacific Air car. There's Jimmy Vasser's Gulfstream Lola. He runs in 6th. He was the pole sitter today. Vasser's handling not nearly what it was yesterday. During qualifying, Jimmy led the first dozen or so laps, got passed by Paul Tracy, and Tracy has set sail. He continues to lead. A.J. Allmendinger trails him by 2.1 seconds now as we work to the final 75 miles here today at the Milwaukee Mile. Lots of sports coming your way on CBS this afternoon. Next up, after we're done today at 3 o'clock Eastern, the PGA Tour on CBS takes you to the event that Jack built. Tiger Woods, Ernie Els, many more battling it out. Third round action at the Memorial, presented by Morgan Stanley. The Memorial Tournament is next here on CBS Sports. After 2 rounds, take a look at this. Tiger Woods trailing Jeff Sluman by just 1 stroke. Heading into round 3 today, Frazier, Glover, Kay, and O'Hearn also 7 under, 1 shot back of the leader. That's coming up at 3 Eastern today here on CBS Sports. First, though, we've got a little matter of the Champ Car Milwaukee 225. Paul Tracy in the Index 3 car has been the dominant force, lapping traffic, no problem, Derek Daly, up onto the backstretch. But whenever you do this, you've got to think about how you make the move.
Exactly. You got to trust the driver that you're passing. Also, a driver can usually tell when he looks in the rear view mirrors, or when he approaches the car, he can tell whether the driver he's going to try and pass has seen him or not. And drivers begin to understand each other's personalities, so you know who you can trust, you know who you can run side by side with, you know who you have to be careful with. But you see A.J. Allmendinger again passed the car that Dale Coyne ran for Servia just in the last race. These guys are all in the one straight here between Tracy, Allmendinger, Wilson, Servia, and Bourdais. They're all covered here by less than 5 seconds.
Allmendinger has quietly been chopping into Paul Tracy's lead. Now, traffic can affect that. It was 1.5 seconds, the gap a moment ago. Now it's stretched back out to 2.3 seconds. Tracy has emerged into clean air, into the open racetrack as he gets through the lap traffic. As we watch Allmendinger out of turn 4 in that Beijing number 10 for Carl Russo's Roosport squad out of the Denver, Colorado area.
Very much an improving team, again back on board with Paul Tracy. Remember, he made that wing adjustment that Jan Beek has told us about at that last pit stop. Right behind him is A.J. Allmendinger. They take almost the same line. Their cars are handling very similarly as they go down past the front straight here. You got to be inch perfect. You got to slide the car as best you can. You got to dare to go as close to the wall as you can. You got to push the power down as soon as possible and hope that all 4 tires stay on the road, that this thing doesn't get away from you. When it does get away, it happens so violently that you just smash that concrete wall.
As we look ahead to the cars in front of Allmendinger, you can see the Index car, but that's not race leader Tracy. Paul's got some help. He's got Mario Dominguez who's a lap down, his teammate there to kind of block for him if he needs it.
And we've watched Dominguez over the last 6 or 7 laps, and he is doing about the same lap time as Paul Tracy. See there, top of your screen, 2 blue Index cars right here, able to run in tandem. And that will present a bit of a problem for A.J. Allmendinger. Dirty air is the turbulent air. Racing car goes through it. The turbulent air behind it sometimes gives buffeting, doesn't quite give the downforce to the car that's following. So you just got to be careful. But Dominguez is hanging on here. Did not have a good qualifying session, but is hanging on here. Qualified 10th. Tracy was 5th.
Our Bridgestone running order, top of your screen. You can see where your favorite driver stands after 158 miles here at the Milwaukee Mile. Oriol Servia, the Pacific Care 2, continues to run fourth. Jan Bikas, he's chopped the Tracy lead down, now 4 3/4 seconds. What do they say?
Well, we want to check in with the team, John Tzazonikis. Now, tell me, Oriol, I know it's for you guys, losing Bruno was tough, but Oriol, you've got to be thrilled with how he's doing thus far.
Oh, yeah, we're very happy with the job that Oriol's doing while he's filling in for Bruno. You know, he's doing a good job. He's running the top 5. It's been quick, so we'll see where we end up.
Were you holding them back a little bit, and now you've let them loose?
No, we've just been running the pace, and we'll see what we can come up with here toward the end of the race. But he's just been doing a good job. He's been hanging in there, so we'll see where we end up.
All right, thank you.
Servia heading toward the front, now 4.5 seconds behind Paul Tracy, who has dominated at least to this point. 65 laps to go at the Milwaukee Mile. Running order with speeds, top of your screen. Getting close to the time when teams might think, hey, we need to make our final pit stop under green, which certainly could change things around. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Welcome back to the Milwaukee Mile, the Champ Car Milwaukee 225 on CBS Sports with Derek Daly, Iberic Benjamin, Jan Bikas, and Ralph Shaheen on pit road. A.J. Allmendinger in second spot, cutting ever so slightly into Paul Tracy's lead, now 1.3 seconds. Derek, you mentioned this a moment ago. Allmendinger doesn't like how his car's working when he gets up behind another race car.
Let's listen. Yeah, let's listen.
I think it's okay. I mean, right now my car's just not really good in dirty air. It moves around a lot. When the guys are running just a lane higher, I can turn under them, get under them, but it's just when they cross my air. But the car's pretty good. No changes.
Okay, so dirty air. For those of you who drive down the highway and you get in behind a big truck, when you hear your car, you feel your car begin to move around side to side. That's what a racing car does when you get into the turbulent air behind another car. Now, Allmendinger says if somebody stays high, he can get underneath them. Well, it's not that bad because he is reeling in Paul Tracy. That is Tracy right up here. See the blue car right ahead of him. He is now less than a second behind Paul Tracy. So Allmendinger, despite his problems, is beginning to reel our leader in.
He's got to make an outside move here in 1 and 2 to get by the lap traffic, but check the power to pass numbers up high. Allmendinger has used his entire 60 seconds of power to pass. Is that to get him close enough to Tracy to give himself a shot, Derek?
I don't know, but whatever it is, he's got nothing left. He better do the rest on handling and on traffic potentially. There's Tracy, there's Allmendinger, and not too far behind him is Justin Wilson. So the Roo Sports team really closing in now as a tandem on Paul Tracy.
Let's get an update on the second driver to crash out here today, Jan Bikas on Andrew Ranger.
Yes, with Andrew. We've been talking, Andrew, a little bit about dirty air. Is that what caught you out?
Yeah, exactly what's happening. I was pretty fast. My car was fast, and I just come faster in the corner, and I lost the rear grip very fast. It's what I lost the control. I go wild. I go into marbles, and I touch the wall.
How are the track conditions? Obviously, there's marbles up high, but are there two grooves for passing?
Not really. You know, you have just one groove. Here it's Milwaukee. You have one groove. You need to be in the line. If you're not, you lost the completely control. It's what's happening with my car.
Well, I'm glad you're okay. Thank you, Andrew.
Thank you.
Words of Andrew Ranger, race leader Paul Tracy down in turns 1 and 2, continuing to lead 1.3 seconds over A.J. Allmendinger. But how about this, Derek Daly? Oriol Servia continuing his climb at least toward the podium. He has moved the Pacific Care 2 car to third spot. Now he's still 3 seconds behind Allmendinger, who we're watching here, riding well with race leader Tracy in the index number 3. But how about Servia? He got around Justin Wilson a few moments ago. This is Allmendinger, who is second, the Beijing 10 car for the Roo Sport team. And we'll cycle back and show you Serbia, I'm sure, in just a couple of moments. Top of the screen, running order with the gap. And here's Serbia, the Pacific Care 2 for the Newman Haas team. Got around Justin Wilson, who was very quick all weekend.
Podium position for Serbia right now. I'm not sure Wilson will let him go. I'm not sure he's going to let him go. That is Nelson Philippe. He pulls into the inside to let Serbia go down the outside. Again, Serbia's car, you can see it just right over the top of that surfacing, the dark surface on the inside. The good handling cars seem to be able to transition and drive right over that, as Serbia does right here. They don't have to be too careful.
Bjorn Vernheim on pit road. The HVM car a little overheating under the bonnet there. They have taken the back bodywork off the Eurosport car. And Vernheim still saddled down. He's out of the race car. So looks as though the 4 team, the HVM squad, will be done for the afternoon. Bjorn Vernheim shown 14. Let's find out more about Jimmy Vasser's problems today. Ralph Shaheen.
Well, Steve Krisloff is a team manager for PKV Racing and watches over Jimmy Vasser during the day. Steve, how's Jimmy's car doing now? I know it's been very loose throughout the afternoon.
Well, the Gulfstream car, we had some issues with tire pressures not coming up to where we thought they were, but we've adjusted now, and he just told us the car's as good as it's been all day, so hopefully we can make a run to the end here.
I know you've had to adjust those air pressures twice during the day. What's kept them from increasing as quickly as you had hoped?
Well, I think it's the track temperature. We don't have as much grip as we had earlier this morning or yesterday, and the tire doesn't work as hard. The tire pressures just weren't coming up as quick.
Rick, it appears those Bridgestone Potenzas are right where he wants them now, and he's going to be quick. And it's been a busy day for Steve Krisloff because his young son Kyle is going to be running in the supporting ARCA Remax Series stock car race as soon as the Champ Car race is done.
Yeah, I'd seen Steve back and forth between the two paddock areas several times this weekend. Of course, Kyle Krisloff, part of the Hendrick Motorsports driver development program, now in the ARCA Remax Series. Watching cars come off of turn 2, that series champ Sebastian Bourdais, the McDonald's #1, the Bridgestone Potenzas on all of these series cars working extremely well here today in pretty hot weather conditions this afternoon. Track temperatures climbing, I'm sure, well past the 100-degree mark. It is warm and muggy. Early June Saturday afternoon racing here on the Milwaukee Mile. Oriole Serbia continues to run third, 6.4 seconds behind race leader Paul Tracy, but A.J. Allmendinger has cut Tracy's lead down to 0.7 of a second. Back with more. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series at the Milwaukee Mile. This summer, the executive producer of Survivor takes you behind the scenes, a new reality show. 15 performers competing to become the new lead singer of a world-famous band. They're going to have to rock or go home. Rockstar In Excess starts Monday, July 11th on CBS. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. What a battle for the lead we've got here, Derek. 2/10. A.J. Allmendinger is up on the wheel. He is chopping down Tracy's advantage here.
Hang on to your hollyhocks here, because over the last 10 laps, Allmendinger has just inched away, closer. In free air, he is actually faster than Paul Tracy. Tracy looks like he has too much push or understeer. What that is, when you turn the steering wheel, the front of the car does not go round the corner as well as you want it to. So A.J. Allmendinger, now there's no traffic, so it's going to have to be a straight-out fight of speed here, but he is quicker than Tracy. He knows it, he smells it. He's never won a race yet, has Allmendinger.
Allmendinger with no power to pass time remaining in only his 17th career Champ Car start. 5th here on the Milwaukee Mile a year ago. Now half a second behind Paul Tracy. Ken Allmendinger, who's been feeling poorly, who by his own admission basically didn't get any sleep last night. Can he get it done? 33 laps to go. One more round of pit stops upcoming. It looks as though they may well be green flag stops. Does the Rousport team have a good enough over-the-wall crew to defeat the Indeck bunch?
They have had so far, but A.J. Allmendinger knows he can almost smell the top step of the podium. Jan?
We talked about the fact he had no sleep last night and was trying to throw up every few hours. And I asked the team, how's he feeling now? They said, you know what? He has never even mentioned anything except for the car, getting it tuned in. His focus is such that I don't think he'd have any idea he had no sleep or had an upset stomach. He now has the bit between his teeth.
Out of turn 2, A.J. Allmendinger in the Beijing #10. And the indication from Champ Car World Series officials is this race will go to the time clocks. 13 minutes and 15 seconds of action left. Now we're down to 30 laps to go. That should be about 11 minutes of racing. So we should be okay to get to the 225 if we stay green. We shall see. Your leader, Tracy, lapping by D'Amato.
Wow, look how fast he goes by D'Amato. Just gives you an idea how much trouble Cristiano D'Amato is in with the handling of that PKV car. But look at this, Allmendinger is still there. He is in his wheel tracks.
About 12 car lengths the gap between race leader Paul Tracy, the blue and white Index number 3, the yellow and white Rousport number 10 with the Beijing logos on the car. Young A.J. Allmendinger out of Denver in second spot, 29 laps to go.
And there's a slew of traffic just up ahead of Paul Tracy. The first car he's going to get to is Marcus Marshall, Team Australia. Timo Glock is up there. Nelson Philippe is up there. They're all in a group. So Allmendinger now begins to think, how can I outfox Paul Tracy? Let me tell you, that's very difficult. How can I be braver than Paul Tracy? Let me tell you, that is impossible. So he's got a lot of challenges here. The one thing he does have on his side is his car right now is faster than Tracy's. Tracy can adjust it at the next pit stop, so Allmendinger needs to push as hard as he can right now while he has Tracy right in his sights.
Well, Paul Tracy has 19 seconds left of his Cosworth power to pass, extra 50 horsepower. Allmendinger has used all of his up, so Tracy's got the ability to play defense with that power to pass button should Allmendinger get close to him. Now, with 11.5 minutes of time left on the clock, we'll go an hour 45 to time. Sebastian Bourdais, the first of the front-running cars to head to pit road. He was 6th when he came off the racetrack. The McDonald's team heading to his pit stall as we watch the two race leaders. Ralph Shaheen.
Rick, this will, of course, be the last stop for Sebastian Bourdais. Tires are going on. Doesn't look like any adjustments to the wings at all. He is out and away in a 7.7 second stop.
So Bourdais makes his final stop of the day with 25 miles to go. Here comes his teammate Oriol Servia in the Pacific Air 2 car. Now Servia was 3rd. He's going to be the first of the cars, or he is in the first group of cars to stop under green. They are over the wall also, getting ready for A.J. Allmendinger. Car running in second spot, the Beijing Rousport number 10. Ralph.
Oriol Servia is in trouble with the left rear tire. He was slow with the left rear, Jan. Didn't look like any adjustments, but that definitely hurt him.
And A.J. Allmendinger brings his car to a stop. They have told him they want to make this so quick, they don't even have time to make adjustments on the car. So they leave the wings alone. Surprised it needs that much fuel. 9.6 seconds. Would have expected that to be a little bit quicker. Look for Paul Tracy. We'll be here momentarily. Actually, we'll stay with this and see if, in fact, Paul Tracy can beat that time.
This is critical. Critical stop for Tracy.
4 new Bridgestones.
Oh, much quicker. That was 8.2 seconds. Much quicker for Paul Tracy. He should be able to maintain, but it's all about the in and out laps.
That's a great stop by Tracy. Great work by that Forsyth team. Now, where will Allmendinger be by the time Tracy gets around, turns 1 and 2 on the warm-up lane, and then takes hold of all the power?
Word from Champ Car officials is a penalty for series champion Sebastian Bourdais. Too fast on pit road. He'll have a drive-through penalty upcoming, so Bourdais could lose the top 5. Riding with Allmendinger down into turn 3. 22 miles to go. Justin Wilson shown as the race leader. He has not yet stopped. Ronnie Bremer, who stopped very early on a much different pit stop sequence, shown 2nd. Tracy cycles to 3rd. Here's Allmendinger shown in 4th spot. Wow. But the gap is now 20 seconds, Derek.
Allmendinger just got killed by that pit stop. You will not beat Paul Tracy with pit stops like that. What a shame. He's got it all to make up. I don't know what, on a place like this, when you're looking for a 1/10 of a second per lap, that is a huge gap now for Allmendinger to try and make up.
So Tracy and Allmendinger, as the rest of the field comes to pit road for their final stops, coming up on 20 laps to go here at the Milwaukee Mile. We'll show you power to pass time available. Our Bridgestone standings, top of your screen. Servia still has 30 seconds of time left as he cycles back into 3rd, and Justin Wilson in 4th position. Vassar shown in 5th now. Bourdais, with that penalty, gets shuffled back to 7th after the round of stops. Here's Allmendinger. Good drive, though, for a young man who's not feeling well. 5th here in his debut a year ago. 2nd today, and he has done a great job. Qualified on the outside pole. Got shuffled back on the start. Came around a couple of great drivers in Jimmy Vasser and got by his teammate Justin Wilson as well. Allmendinger back up to 2nd now.
Allmendinger, we hear, may not be getting the same type of fuel mileage as Tracy. If that's the case, they had to put more fuel in that car. He stands stationary for a longer period of time. Tracy looked as if he was actually finished changing 4 tires before the finished fueling before the tire, so he didn't need as much fuel.
I heard Jan Bikas comment when Allmendinger was on pit road that he was surprised that it took that much fuel in the 10 car to get him to the checkered flag. But what about Paul Tracy, Jan Bikas? Very impressive cycle on the pit road.
It was an impressive pit stop, but more importantly, they made a change on the car. They changed the tire pressures. We saw that Paul Tracy was having some push or some understeer. They believe they've made a change that's going to bring significant speed to Tracy. So they gave him speed on pit road and on the racetrack.
5.5 seconds the lead over Allmendinger. Coming up on 15 laps to go for Paul Tracy, gunning for his 4th victory here at the Milwaukee Mile. Hey, next Sunday on CBS Sports at 1 o'clock Eastern, Formula One. Fernando Alonso, defending champ Michael Schumacher, among the field at the 2005 Canadian Grand Prix presented by Geico next Sunday here on CBS Sports. And we are under a yellow flag at the Milwaukee Mile. Debris found on the speedway by observers around the course.
You know the deal.
Okay, Allmendinger is now about to make up all the time he lost.
What the fuck is that about? I know, but they feel that there's some debris out there that they're looking for. Look for the base car.
Paul Tracy uncut and uncensored there for a moment. This will give Allmendinger a shot.
Okay, now we have a shootout. Look at this here. Allmendinger now right behind him. The last lap they just did, Allmendinger did a 23.0. Tracy was in the 22s
Servia is the next
earlier.
car for position, and he is 2 back, AJ. So, is this going to be a time race or is this going to be a lap race? Time to race, AJ. We've got 6 minutes left.
Neil Mickelwright, so many years in Formula One with the people like the Arrows team, moved over here many years ago to head up Foresight's operation. He is the calming voice that comes on the radio to Paul Tracy, if anybody can calm Paul Tracy down. Allmendinger now.
They've got the jet blowers out, clean the surface, showing you the power to pass, Cosworth power to pass time, and our Bridgestone standings board up at the top of your screen. 14 laps to go.
Can Servia get close enough to Allmendinger to make a difference here? Bourdais and Nelson Philippe is between Allmendinger and AJ Allmendinger.
Only 5 cars on the lead lap with 13 miles to go here in Milwaukee. Well, tomorrow on CBS, it begins with America's #1 news magazine, 60 Minutes, and then join Hugh Jackman as Broadway celebrates its best with superstar performances. The Tony Awards are live tomorrow night. It's all here tomorrow on CBS. With Derek Daly, I'm Rick Benjamin. Ralph Shaheen and Jan Bikas have been on pit road for us. The first of 4 consecutive events for the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford here on CBS Sports. In 2 weeks, we'll be with you from Portland International Raceway, then from Cleveland and from Toronto. So we hope you'll make your plans to join us each weekend upcoming here on CBS Sports for Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. The Index Forsyth crew on the wall with a tire, but there should be no more need for a stop. 13 laps to go, still under caution, expecting a restart. Top left of your screen, you see the time clock. Champ Car World Series officials made the decision about 10 minutes ago to put this one under the clock to ensure that we can show you the finish here on CBS Sports. There's the Rousport AJ Allmendinger team, the Beijing squad, watching their driver as he makes his way down the main straightaway behind the safety car here at the Milwaukee Mile. One of only 2 oval tracks the Champ Car World Series will perform on this year. In the fall, in September, we'll be back at Las Vegas Motor Speedway, where Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series powered by Ford. Best lap speeds at the top of your screen as we show you the running order. Ryan Hunter-Reay crashed out after just 5 laps after dominating here a year ago. Hunter Ray's Briggs & Stratton car hard into the turn 2 wall. We're told he is awake and alert. Andrew Ranger wrecked about 90 miles ago up in turn 4. Really brushed the wall, knocked the right side wheels off the car. And then Bjorn Verdheim had a mechanical problem overheating the 4 car, the Eurosport machine. He too is behind the wall. So 14 cars remain in action here at the Milwaukee Mile. Watching the McDonald's car Bourdais.
Serbia, who's currently P3 behind Allmendinger, just 30 seconds left, so let's be ready for anything.
Did you hear what he just said?
Yeah.
Serbia has 30 seconds left of the Cosworth extra boost, extra horsepower. So expect anything. Okay, Allmendinger, tighten down your seatbelts, buddy. You know exactly what Tracy can do and what he does regularly on cold tires. Can you match him? Can you prove a point here? You have the speed. Now, do you have the bravery and do you have the handling to give him a big challenge?
Well, since Tracy went to the outside and got around Jimmy Vasser early, he's led all the way other than on pit stops. 10 miles to go at Milwaukee.
Oh, he got a terrible start. What was he thinking of? He should have been all over the back of Paul Tracy.
Oriol Serbia shown third, but he's behind a couple of lapped cars.
Wow. You think Tracy used up... Oh, Tracy just used 10 seconds.
He played defense.
He did. What a bright move by Paul Tracy. Sheer horsepower caused him to pull away from A.J. Allmendinger, put him into the safety zone.
And what you heard Neil Mickelwright say before we got the restart, he was telling his driver Tracy that Oriol Serbia, running third, has 30 seconds left. Serbia wasn't on the button when they came to the restart. There is Allmendinger. And there is Bourdais, still 6th but a lap down. Just 5 cars on the lead lap, 9 to go.
High-speed chase here. Bourdais now has better handling than he had earlier on, able to hang on to A.J. Allmendinger.
Riding with Allmendinger, who runs second. Car working well after that final pit stop, final adjustment, but Tracy 3 seconds quicker on pit road than was the Allmendinger crew. You heard Jan Bikas say that Allmendinger needed more fuel. Evidently, Tracy able to get better mileage here today on the Milwaukee Mile.
Allmendinger's been on the podium before, but he's never been second. 3rd place is the best he's had. Great run for Serbia.
Riding again with Allmendinger.
He's in clear air. He said earlier, we heard him on the radio, that in clear air, the car is pretty good. Doesn't have to worry about that as the laps close down.
2.3 seconds behind leader Paul Tracy now, with 5 to go this time by. White flag being shown because of the time issue.
Couple of brave moves by Paul Tracy earlier on to take the lead from Jimmy Vasser, and he continues with the speed all day.
Last time around for Paul Tracy and the checkered flag. Paul Tracy wins his 4th Champ Car event here in Milwaukee.
Stop now, you can stop now.
Wow. Do you hear what he just said? Paul Tracy got his fastest lap on the very last lap of the race at a 22.2, which, believe it or not, was almost 0.5 of a second, half a second faster than A.J. Allmendinger on an oval track. That is an eternity.
That puts an exclamation point on a dominant run today by the 2003 Champ Car World Series champion Paul Tracy. The thrill from West Hill has bagged his 4th Champ Car win on the Milwaukee Mile. He's serving donuts to the big crowd here today. We'll take a quick timeout and come back and chat with the winner on CBS Sports. Back in Milwaukee for year-round racing coverage with late-breaking news, information, and all the driver rankings. Click on Autos at CBSSportsLine.com. In victory lane at the Milwaukee Mile for the 4th time in his storied Champ Car career, Paul Tracy, Jan Bikas.
And he just rolls in here into pit road. The exit of pit road, of course, victory circle. And for Paul Tracy, I know this has to be so sweet, especially after the disappointment in Monterrey, Mexico. Excuse me, Billy. We're tight on time here, Paul, but congratulations. Excellent ride.
I got to thank my crew. The Foresight team, in-deck team did a great job today. I got to thank Eric Zito and our whole engineering team. He just gave me a perfect car, and qualifying, we made a small mistake on setup, and I knew we had a car this morning in warm-up, and I was just felt great.
Was the defining moment the outside move on Jimmy Vasser?
Yeah, him and I were racing like two old salty sea dogs. It was like going at it like 10 years ago, so that was a lot of fun.
Congratulations, your first of the season and fourth at Milwaukee. Great job.
Thanks.
Well, another driver who really has a high watermark to celebrate as Tracy waves the checkered flag. Best career finish for young A.J. Allmendinger. Finishes second today. He's with Ralph Shaheen.
Yes, he's right here, A.J. You're looking a little worn out. I know you weren't feeling too great last night. What happened on that last start there that kept you from getting Paul?
He was really fast, and that's basically all it came down to. I think on old tires we had something for him, but on new tires he was a missile. But this whole Roo Sport team did a great job. Thanks to Red Bull and especially Bridgestone and the Potenza tires. Those things were working all weekend, and Cosworth and my whole crew and just everybody on this team, because they did a fantastic job this week, and we needed a great run because we had a bad start to the year.
After a good finish today, I know he'll sleep much better tonight. And Oriole Serbia, you finished third, but this has to feel a little bit like a win for you today. You said you had great equipment. You wanted to prove what you could do. Do you feel you did that?
Yeah, before the race, the Mata told me, you'll see things happen easier at Newman Haas team, and it did. The Pacific Air car was just going forward. I was just a passenger, I'm sure Bruno deserved a win, and I tried, but I think a podium, it's quite a good thing for us. First race in the team, and only 2-hour practice before qualifying. Everything happened a little bit in a rush, but I'm really grateful, really happy, and I hope we can keep building up.
Rick, my guess is as soon as he's done here in Victory Lane, he'll be politicking to stay in that car.
Well, he started 9th today. Ralph gained 6 spots, comes home third. Oriole Serbia, his first ride in the Pacific Air, number 2. Let's show you how they came across the stripe here in Milwaukee today. The Champ Car Milwaukee 225. Paul Tracy, your winner. Allmendinger in Serbia. Justin Wilson, a nice 4th.
It really was a good run for that team. Jimmy Vasser faded, came on strong towards the middle of the race. As you see the rest of our top 10.
Timo Glock, Alex Tagliani, who battled hard today and comes home in 10th position. Let's take a look at the championship standings after 3 rounds of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. Paul Tracy with the win here today certainly helps his cause, but Sebastian Bourdais takes over the point lead. Wilson moves to second in a tie with Tracy. Bruno Junqueira, who missed this one and will miss many more, down to 4th now, ahead of Allmendinger and Dominguez, Serbia, Vasser, Glock, and Tagliani. Well, this concludes our coverage of the Champ Car Grand Prix of Milwaukee. We hope you've enjoyed our coverage today on CBS Sports. Next up for us, Sunday, June 19th, we'll join you from beautiful Portland, Oregon, for Round 4 of Bridgestone presents the Champ Car World Series, powered by Ford. It'll be the Champ Car Grand Prix of Portland. Sebastian Bourdais is the defending race winner at Portland International Raceway, and we'll have the coverage for you here on CBS Sports at 3:30 Eastern Time, 2 weeks from tomorrow.